TV. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? What's good? What's good? So we woke up this morning to a sea of red. A sea of red. Why did we wake up to a sea of red? Well, I guess we can chalk that up to trust. We can chalk it up to trust. So we heard from the current regime that, hey, things are going well in Iran, and we're going to, we're working with them to come to a ceasefire, blah 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 blah. Nobody was paying attention to what Iran said. Iran was like, we have no idea what the heck he's talking about. And people were writing it off all day because that news came out early in the day. And all day long, nobody paid attention to it. Well, overnight, people were paying attention to it. So Asian markets went down. So we're waking up to, a sea of red. Oil prices rising back up into the healthy mid-90s. Just saying, we've got a lot to discuss. We've got a lot to unpack, but we have other news first. Google announced yesterday that they have a new compression algorithm for RAM that would enable them to use less RAM and not hurt accuracy when using large language models. That's actually huge news because, as you know, RAM prices are kind of hurting us right now. Facts. So yeah, that's actually a big deal. When it comes into play, I'm not so sure, but they presented at ICLR 2026, potentially dropping hardware providers, or disrupting hardware providers, because they would have to make a shift in how they produce memory. So I think Google is coming on, and they're coming on really hard. When this whole AI thing started happening, I was of the mindset that, wow, Google's left behind? Like, really? Well, we were all wrong. Google has been using AI for years. Years. They just didn't have anything out in the public. So now you're literally watching Google pop out with different applications, different solutions, right? And not just via, an end user interface, but also for us developers to tap into from an API perspective and work it into our applications and our solutions. Like this morning, I was on a conference call with my team this morning talking about, man, we're going to have to make some changes. And we were discussing the changes, and I was like, wait a minute, we have a tool that'll do something like that. Like, we already built something, we just don't use it. We built it for like future use. Well, now it's the future. That's Google. That is Google. I mean, obviously on a much larger scale, but I mean, you're seeing Google come out with new toys, new solutions. You're seeing Anthropic come out with new tools, new solutions, and they're both banging on OpenAI, stuck in the middle, who had to shut down Sora. That says a lot, doesn't it? That right there says a lot. So yeah, I'm paying attention to the AI space. And something else I want to tell you guys. I've noticed certain comments where people are not watching the whole show, so they're missing context. They're watching the shorts. When I watch a short, I either want to go do more research, right? Or I want to watch the long form video because I'm sure that I'm missing other details that would also be interesting to me. And somebody asked, can you please go into AI more, your thoughts on AI more, because telling a developer to not use AI is like telling, a construction worker not to use power tools. You missed the whole context. I appreciate the comment, but you missed the whole context. It was the idea that we have a developer, a $500,000 developer, who is going to get yelled at if they don't use at least $250,000 in, AI tokens. And the idea is that, yeah, AI in the right hands can do a lot. AI in the wrong hands can, you know what I mean? But it wasn't the point to not use AI. The point was, you want somebody who's making $500,000 to spend half their salary, not their salary, but the equivalent to half their salary in tokens. And it was important because who made the comment? Jensen Huang. Yeah, CEO of Nvidia made that comment. So that's what made it important, because it's kind of like, wait a minute. So you're just asking people to use more AI, more commercial level AI, so that they can buy your chips, so that they can use more AI. You see what I mean? It just becomes this never ending cycle. But the fact is, the market is actually shaping up to be a bit different. I think there is a slice of the market that is breaking off, that's saying, if I have to spend 250 grand for that developer to do things, I'm going to bring that AI in-house and save the 250 grand. That one. Let's suppose implementing AI internally for that one person is $100,000. I'm still saving $150,000. I mean, it's not that much, but imagine, I'm still saving $150,000. There's a case to be made, a strong case to be made, that all of those data centers, yeah, but it may not be necessary. We may be overbuilding at this point. Or the projections are that we will be overbuilding. So that's my thought on AI. Just saying. I mean, my company is deep in AI, so of course I'm not going to say, oh, developers shouldn't use it. That's not the point. That was not ever the point. It was the amount of which you want them to use AI. And you have to remember that AI is not going to have the answers that some of these developers are going to have. How did we get here? By people that think differently. And if people think differently, AI hasn't had a chance to capture that yet. I know, because I have those people on my staff. They think differently. They think creatively to solve problems. When they come across a problem, the chances are they're not going to find it on Reddit or GitHub or one of these other places. They're going to have to figure it out. See what I mean? A $500,000 engineer, yeah, they're going to figure it out. For small things, they can use, testing and A/B, but all that kind of stuff. Yeah, sure. Development, yeah, not so much. Not so much. It's a different world. It's a different world. What else do we have going on? A lot, thank you very much. Australia's Reserve Bank shifted to building tokenized asset market infrastructure, estimating $24 billion in annual economic benefits. That's huge. That's a company move. I mean, not a company move, a country level move. It changes the outlook. And that's tokenization. Just saying. There's a lot going on there. Google has set a 2029 deadline for post-quantum cryptography migration and amid quantum computing risks. Yeah, everybody is facing quantum computing risks, and everybody's saying, hey, we need to do this probably by 2030. That is like the year. Now, a couple of companies have been able to pull that in a little bit, but I think everybody's initial number was, or initial year or time frame was 2030. So yeah, everybody wants to make that move. Everybody wants to make that move. It's a big deal. A Texas court dismissed a crypto developer's lawsuit citing insufficient threat of prosecution under money transmission laws, meaning they wanted this case thrown out because they don't want to have to abide by money transmission laws. Guess what? A Texas judge was like, yeah, nah, you're going to have to deal with this. You're going to have to deal with this. Certain things I think developers, should be exempt from, right? But other things, it's kind of like a developer should be exempt from their software being used in a malicious way. But if you're building something to be used in a malicious way, or you're building something to skirt a law or regulation, yeah, maybe we ought to look at that. You know what I mean? Not everybody's innocent. Trust but verify kind of stuff. Bitcoin Depot appointed Alex Holmir CEO amid regulatory actions in multiple states. Why? Because they are a Bitcoin ATM operator. And yes, they're under massive scrutiny. Massive scrutiny. So yeah, they need somebody else at the helm to actually pick up on that and see what's going on. So you got to be looking at that. And this guy, Alex Holmes, it's Alex Holmes. Kind of a big guy. Bit of hope. What's good? So then you have, don't forget to invest in yourself today. So what else do we have? We've got Give me a moment. Hype token traded between $38 and $42 despite a 50% 30-day gain and a 30% drop from its peak. Yeah, I get it. It's a 30% drop from its peak. I totally get that. This is where my thought process kicks in. I've got holding wallets where I just DCA. My DCA strategy is over here. I'm just putting it in. No reason to think about it other than what am I putting it into? But that DCA strategy happens no matter what. Over here, I have trading wallets. Now, my trading wallets recognize that over time, right? Over time, it goes like this. But nothing moves in a straight line. So you could be going like this on the way down. So that means that you can make money on the way down. And it goes like this on the way up, which means that you can make money on the way up. I mean, obviously you could lose money on the way up too. But if you're doing it right, your holding wallets are taking care of that long-term look, and your trading wallets are taking care of the short-term look. So I might have lost a couple of bucks with the hype that I'm holding over here, but the hype that I'm playing with over here, yeah, that's making me money. Why? Because I do my own research, I know my entries and exits, and I absolutely invest deliberately. That's the GMB3. Practice that. It will help you. Because the first investment that you make is in yourself. And the GMB3 is just a way of thinking. It's a way to apply certain things. How do you apply doing your own research? How do you apply knowing your entries and exits? How do you apply investing deliberately? One of the lessons that I say for investing deliberately is there are so many people that FOMO in, FOMO out, get lettuce hands or whatever. You're not investing deliberately. You're reacting. You're reacting to the masses. You're not investing deliberately. And also, another lesson is that you can find in the book, go to Amazon, is the word is investing. But it doesn't mean you're always getting into the market. Sometimes you're getting out of the market. Sometimes you're just maintaining in the market. Concepts that people understand, but sometimes need a little reminder. Just saying. What else do we have? A federal judge? Nope. A federal judge certified a class action lawsuit against NVIDIA for misleading investors about crypto mining's impact on GPU sales following an SEC fine and internal emails. Yeah, that's going to be a problem for them. You know, I've been saying for a while that NVIDIA could have an issue that's coming up. And this actually points out a multi-pronged issue. What's that multi-pronged issue? That multi-pronged issue is there's that whole cyclical investment thing that they've got going on with everybody. That's one. This is two. You want to know what's three? Competition they didn't think they had. Yeah, ARM is now a competitor. Intel was always a competitor, but they're looking at Intel as, we invested in you, you're not a problem anymore. We'll make money if you make money, so kind of softens the blow. But Intel is a threat. Google is a threat. You want to know who else is a threat? Amazon is a threat. When you're at the top, everybody is a threat. And they all come from different perspectives. So we're going to have to pay attention to that. Just saying. Just saying. So there's a lot going on there. What else do we have? The PREDICT Act aims to ban U.S. officials, including the president and families and staff, from making money on prediction markets. Because remember, they have information that nobody else has. First of all, I don't think that government movement should be open on prediction markets. It's betting. I mean, I say it all the time. I say it every day. They're not predictive markets. They're not prediction markets. They're casinos. It's another way to gamble. That's all it is. Putting a fancy word in front of it doesn't change what it actually is. And I think that's what people have to wake up to. It's gambling, straight up gambling. Crypto analyst Benjamin Cowen warned Bitcoin's price resembled 2022's bear market. Not wrong. But If you're going by just the numbers, that makes sense, right? Pause. You have to look at what's affecting the market before you can look at those numbers. And what's affecting the market, that's not so normal now, is it? Yeah, there you go. Because 2025 should have been a banner freaking year. 2025 should have been a banner year for like everybody. Who did it wind up being a banner year for? It became a banner year for everybody that already knew that so-and-so was going to use the word tariff. And that's a fact because people made money a couple of seconds, a couple of minutes before that word was used. Moves were made, money was made. Same thing over the past few days. There were moves made minutes before a ceasefire announcement was made. There was money to be made and somebody made it. There were wallets on prediction markets that were found to be, we're not taking that bet. Why? Because they got caught. You weren't supposed to, like almost insider stuff. So people knew, people found out, they were able to take action quickly. And then what happened? Well, people that made moves in oil futures made money and technically did not break the law. Why? Futures is the CFTC, spot markets, SEC. Spot markets have big rules on insider trading. The CFTC and futures does not. It's like ridiculously narrow and basically, it's not really all that enforceable. Enforceable, but not so much. On the SEC side, those laws, those regulations, the most enforced in the world. In the world. Facts. So people made moves on the future side, made huge money. Anybody making a move over here was breaking the law. But I want you to think about something. They all knew not to do that. That's why they hit futures. So what's the scenario? I tell you something's going to happen. You immediately go to the spot market and make a move. Insider trading. I tell you something's going to happen. Me being in the government, just like the other one. I tell you something's going to happen. You immediately hit futures market. Not illegal. Not illegal at all. Yeah. So there were moves made. Now, some people tried to instead run over to Polymarket and Kalshi and try to make those kind of moves. And they got tamped down real fast. New accounts within minutes. Yeah, nah. Insider. Absolutely insider. And they don't want that smoke. They're already dealing with a lot of smoke. They don't want that smoke. They don't want any more of that smoke. Yeah, massive problem. So yeah, pay attention. Do your own research. Know your entries and exits. And absolutely invest deliberately. So pay attention to these things. So right now, market's red because there is no ceasefire going on right now. Right? And now, literally 2 seconds ago, Trump says Iranian negotiators better get serious soon before it's too late. Now come the threats, right? A few days ago, it was, they gave us a present. They gave us a gift. I'm not going to say what the gift is, but they gave us a gift. Markets were like, yeah, we're getting close to a ceasefire. Except we weren't. While that was said, the 82nd Airborne was already on its way. And then you also have, between last night and this night, you have other Gulf states saying, yeah, we're ready to get into this. They had already given permission for you to land at our bases and do whatever. But now they're like, oh, yeah, we're kind of ready to put in resources because they're a problem now. because they're a problem now. So do we expect things to be done within a month? No real war is done within a month. Well, no modern day, right? Which means that this could be an extended period of time that we're in that area of the world. Now, can we make it an easier solution? Maybe. Within that time frame, though, I think right now it's called a conflict. It's not called a war. I don't know why people keep using the term war. And something else that truly annoys me after having family in the war, close family, I mean like brother, I don't know what war is. He does. Right? He does. Other people in my family do. Our families understand war only because they were there. So that whole term fog of war being used by people that have never served in a war grates on my skin. Because you're not going to sleep and waking up every day wondering. You have no idea. And I don't mean me wondering about my brother. I mean my brother wondering if he's going to wake up the next day. Aha. So yeah, we should tamp down on that. I get it. It's a term that's been out there. It's not for you. It's not for you. Just my own personal thing. But because we keep getting bounced between, oh, we're having great talks, things are going to happen real soon. To me, I look at that. I look at everything that comes out of this regime as market manipulation. So now my risk framework says I need to identify opportunities for market manipulation. Things look real bad. Things look real good. Things look real. You see what I mean? And then how would I react to that manipulation? Like, I want to be able to identify those opportunities for market manipulation before they get manipulated, before they hit reality. Move on them so I'm positioned. And then once it happens, I can get out because now I've executed. That's what's up. That's almost completely changed how I'm using my trading wallets. Yeah. So yeah, do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately because you need to evaluate a hell of a lot more, macroeconomic impacts than previously thought. Us getting involved in a conflict and headed quickly toward an official war was not on my dance card. Not on my dance card. Congress might be forced to actually declare war, or they'll be seen as not supporting the troops. Poorly planned, poorly executed. Poorly planned, poorly executed. Mind you, over the past year, you've been getting rid of a lot of generals that really know what they're doing when it comes to this kind of stuff. Mind you, a lot of generals are like, why are you doing this? The politics didn't even make sense. Unless you look at the situation between this regime and Bibi Netanyahu, then you'll start to sit back and go, I see why. I'm saying there are a lot of things that go into managing your wallet, managing your bags. And right now, like Rick Ritchie said, yeah, I'm in sort of a defensive mode. Even with me trying to make money with my trading wallets, I'm in a defensive mode. I'm protecting my holding wallets, doing different maneuvers over here that I would do over here. But my trading habits, my trading instincts have been altered because of the patterns that I've seen. Anyway, you know what we should do? That's right. We should get into numbers. Now, there's a whole bunch of other news that I had to talk about. Very important news that you probably want to go over to growmybag.tv and read some of those articles so you can catch up. Just saying, that could be something you want to do. Let's move over here. Nope, that's the wrong one. Hold on a second. Let's fix which camera we're on. That one? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. All right, let me get my notes out of the way. And there you go. Trump says Iranian negotiators better get serious soon before it's too late. People might be thinking I'm making political statements here. I'm not. This is directly tying into your bag. Do you not see these prices? Dow futures down 320, 325. S&P futures down 48.75. NASDAQ futures down 206. Oil up 2.74. US 10-year up 0.052. Yeah, I'm talking about things that directly affect our bags. Just saying. Company earnings today. Yeah, there are probably a couple of companies here that I would pay attention to, but the truth is I'm not paying attention to anything other than these macro events. That's driving everything at the moment. Right now, today, we're expecting initial jobless claims. We have a ton of Fed speak from Lisa Cook, Stephen Miran, Philip Jefferson, and Michael Barr today. I will be paying attention to all of it. Why? Because you're looking at a situation that is no bueno. They're sitting between a rock and a hard place right now. And that hard place is that I've got to worry about inflation at the same time. I've got to worry about jobs. Jobs are not being affected by what traditionally affects jobs. These companies don't have money problems. They're at almost record revenue. And they're firing people because they want to cut how much their spend is so their stocks go up, so they look better. That's what they're looking at. It's not a money problem, which can be solved by lowering rates, making it cheaper for companies to borrow money. That's not the problem. AI and other things are why people are losing jobs. So you lowering the rates is not going to help the regular person directly, indirectly, right? Lowering rates definitely increases inflation. And you have a hard problem right now because inflation is an issue right now. So the FOMC is stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I absolutely want to pay attention to Fed speak. I've been telling you guys for a long time, always pay attention to Fed speak. It gives you an idea about where their head's at, and it helps you actually calculate where they're going to be, down the road. It's not always obvious. So get used to how they speak. Get used to how they speak. See the decision. Oh, this is how they speak. This is the decision. This is how they speak. This is the decision. It's fairly consistent. So they, each one of them has their own brain. They're telling you what's on their mind, what's important to them, what numbers they're looking for, what their thought processes are. And that's what we need to pay attention to. What else do we have going on? Fear and greed index is at 10, down from 14. I'm surprised it's double digits. I'm not playing. I'm not expecting tomorrow to be double digits. I'm expecting tomorrow to be like 7 or 8. DeFi Llama, $95.528 billion in total value locked. Not a bad place. I'm expecting it to drop. Why? Because I'm expecting the crypto market value to drop. Right? Just saying. What else do we have here? Yeah, we're moving sideways, but you can see it's moving sideways. Sideways. Wow. You were moving sideways, and you can see that we're dropping right here. Overall, if you look at right here, there's your low. Right? We dipped below that 63,719. I think we're headed back in that direction. If we see boots on the ground, that's going to be a devastating move. Even the G7, look at the articles on the website, growmybag.tv. There's an article there talking about how the G7 is saying this would be a global they're saying it is a global economic disaster. Not that it's going to be, that it is. And it truly is. You already have countries that have energy rationing in place. You have other countries that are putting plans or developing plans for energy rationing. Energy rationing. I want you to think about that. Countries like India are putting plans in place for rationing. They're prioritizing energy use for the home over commercial use. If you're a big company and you've outsourced your tech to India, yeah, you're definitely looking at your business continuity plan right now. You're absolutely considering that. You're talking to the government. Where are we at? What are we doing? How much of an impact is this going to be? Then you're talking about, well, how many people do I have in India and can they work from home? India notoriously has energy problems. So there are a lot of companies trying to figure all that out. Just saying. Just saying. What else do we have? Everything. Look at it. Like I said, sea of red. ADA is down significantly. XRP down. Sol down. Just everybody's down. You might see a little bit of green, but overall, they're probably down. Nobody's at or near their all-time highs. Something I pay attention to. What do we have right here? Like I said, down massively. Ethereum year to date is down almost a third. 30%. Holy freaking moly. 20% for Bitcoin. Insane. Now, if you've got dry powder sitting on the side, I might wait just a little while. Why? Because if I wait a little while, the market might go even lower, and that would be my entry point for my calculations. Your calculations might be different. Why? Because you have a different risk framework than I have. So that's why I keep telling you guys, do your own research, know your entries and exits, absolutely invest deliberately. And a part of that process should be the development of your risk framework. Having your own risk framework makes it easy for you to move quickly and to make calculations on how you should move. Why is that? Because you understand how, what your buying habits are, what your trading habits are. It'll help you in the long run. It will absolutely help you in the long run. Yeah, like I said, those are the articles that we were talking about. But let's go take a look at winners and losers. Losers first, as always. Let's see, Akash Network down 13.12%, GMB X factor of 14.72. Siren down another 10.26%, GMB X factor of 0.79. It's amazing that it's surviving so much considering the reporting that ZachXBT has done. Let's see, who else am I paying attention to? Is the whole list? Yeah, this whole list is in the red. This whole list meets my 5% rule. Just saying. Render is down. Let me see. Before that, Kite is down 8.28%, GMB X factor of 0.49. Render is down 8%, 8.05%, GMB X factor of 6.73. Artificial Superintelligence Alliance down 7.68% with a GMB X factor of 13.61. BitTensor is down 7.42%, GMB X factor of 1.28. Virtuals down 7.27%, GMB X factor of 6.35. Aave down 7.06%, GMB X factor of 5.21. I'll pause for a moment. A lot of people keep asking me, what's the big deal with the GMB X factor? It means from this point, from where you are right now, this is the distance you have to go to get back to your all-time high. That's an important number. To me, those are the real X opportunities. Makes it easier for me to understand, easier for me to see potential upside, the whole nine. In other words, for me, it puts all the coins on an even playing field, and I can look at those numbers and use them to my advantage. What else? Who else? Fartcoin down 6.56%, GMB X factor of 12.84. Zcash down 6.41, GMB X factor of 13.36. Not shocked. Near Protocol down 6.27%, GMB X factor of 15.75. Who's on the winner side? Is there anybody worthwhile on the winner side? Let's see. Yeah, and all the way right here, that's when you hit my GMB X factor, and there's nobody here that I care about, which means that everybody's sideways or down. These are the top 25 coins. The top 25 coins and number 25 is only up 0.05%. Yeah, exactly. So everybody's either negative or moving laterally. We've been in that state for a long time. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what we're doing. If you do, do me a favor. As soon as the show is over, go over to your mobile phone, hit the hype button, and hype us up so we can reach even more people with the message of investing in yourself is the most important thing that you can do. As always, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, thank you for your trust. Me and my team will work for that every single day. I'll see you tonight on The Overflow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.